Yo, 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 what is going on, YouTube? It's your boy Who's Dev Sports back at it again with another NFL video. And today we're going to be taking a look at what happened this past weekend, wild card weekend, the big 6 games in the NFL world. We're going to take a look at where I was right, where I was wrong, updated bracket, my updated bracket. And we're just going to take a look at each game individually and basically my takes on each game, where what went right for some teams, what went wrong. So as you can see right here, this was my bracket that I had previously. Obviously, you can say some things got ruined. I obviously picked the Titans over Ravens. They lost. We'll get to that in a bit. Bills beating the Colts, I had that. Browns versus Steelers. I think everybody's shocker of the weekend. I mean, what in the world happened to the Pittsburgh Steelers? I really just want to know what happened to the Pittsburgh Steelers. What kind of a choke job was that? One of the worst performances. They made a little run at the end. They're trying to come back, but I mean, they tried as much as they could, but didn't really work out, did it? Bears and Saints, fairly easy. I told you that was probably the easiest one to pick. Saints won convincingly. Seahawks Rams, man, I really thought Russell Wilson was going to pull this one out. I really did. I mean, it took literally 2 quarterbacks to beat the Seahawks. Who would have thought that it took 2 quarterbacks to beat Russell Wilson? A lot of people say Russell Wilson's great. He is, but we might have to start relooking at Russell Wilson. See what's going on. Up here, we have my updated bracket. I won't show you guys that yet. I'll actually just go through game by game. You guys could have paused it already and see what it was, but feel free to just stay to the end of the video to see my updated bracket. So let's just go through game by game and see what happened this weekend. So first we start with the Bills Colts. If you look at the stats, Phillip Rivers, he had what I would call a very Phillip Rivers game. 2 touchdowns, 300 yards. I didn't expect anything more from Phillip Rivers. He did what he was supposed to do. I'll tell you right now, the reason the Bills won this game was I would say their late game defense. That's what made the Bills win this game. I saw this game. I watched this game from start to finish. I honestly thought the Colts were going to win this game. There was points in this game where I thought the Colts had it. But the Bills' late game defense really stepped up. Another thing that made the Colts lose this game, their 2-minute offense was horrendous. It was garbage. I believe there was a play with 2 minutes left where they huddled up, where they should have just did a fast play, a no huddle play, go straight to the line of scrimmage and run it. They decided to huddle. I really think that cost them. Obviously, there was the big fumble at the end that cost them. I thought it was a fumble off glance. It turned out it wasn't. I thought there was enough evidence to overturn that call and say it was a fumble, which I think then the Bills would have easily just won. But we saw at the end of the game, Phillip Rivers, he threw the Hail Mary. I forgot who it was that knocked down the pass, but one of the Bills, they knocked it down. They did what they had to do. We easily have the Bills moving on. It's like I predicted. Bills are something special. Josh Allen, obviously the Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs connection was there. This might be the best this season. This could be the best wide receiver quarterback duo right here. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. What a great trade by the Bills going out and getting Stephon Diggs. I mean, something special. Then the next game, Rams Seahawks. Obviously, I had this one wrong. We know Jared Goff wasn't good to go. He was taking pre-snaps. He was trying his best. They put in John Wolford. Sadly, John Wolford, he got an angry hit, took it right to the neck region. Obviously, you saw he was hospitalized after the game. Sad to see that. But Jared Goff, man, he came in there and he stepped up. He did exactly what they needed. He stepped up. He threw the passes where they needed to be. He got it past the Seahawks defense. Sadly, Jamal Adams did as much as he could. Carlos Dunlap, those boys, they did as much as they could. But it just so happens that they had the Seahawks number today, the Rams. Russell Wilson, if you want to say it was almost like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of season for him. First half of the season, we're talking about, oh my God, Russell Wilson, MVP, this, that. First 8 weeks, he's such a god. Next 8 weeks, I don't even think we were hearing about Russell Wilson as like a top 10 quarterback. That's how non-existent he was. He wouldn't really do anything. DK Metcalf, yeah, he had 2 touchdowns, but Sadly, it wasn't enough. A really nice one-handed catch by Tyler Lockett. I don't know if you guys saw that, but that was really a nice play. But they had no run. I mean, they had somewhat of a run game. They just couldn't cash in terms of the end zone. But I mean, Russ tried as much as he can. You're just gonna have to go back to the drawing boards next year, see what you can do in the draft to boost up this defense. This defense needs a lot of work. Maybe you can draft up your offensive line a little bit, see what you can do. But for right now, I mean, this was an upset. I just got to call it. But it felt more like the Rams had control the whole game. So it didn't feel too much like an upset. It felt like the Rams went in here with the winning mentality, and that's exactly what they did. So, I mean, the Rams just, they played a better game. Bucs Washington. This game was a little bit closer than I think most people had it as. I, for one, was surprised to saw that Taylor Heineke was starting. I really thought Alex Smith was going to start. It seemed like the whole week it was leaning towards Alex Smith. Then I believe, what is it, like an hour before I got the alert on my phone, it said Alex Smith will not play. He has a calf injury. Taylor Heineke will start. I was just as surprised as anyone. I really didn't understand it. Well, obviously I understand it now. You can't put Alex Smith out there. I really wanted to see what Alex Smith could do, though. I believe they would have had a better chance, but I mean, Heineke gave them as much as he could. He had a really nice rushing touchdown into the end zone. What a dive. Obviously, Steven Sims had a nice catch. Cam Sims did a nice job. Terry McLaurin. But, I mean, I don't think this is the end for the football team. They do need to figure out their quarterback issue. I don't know if Alex Smith is, the way to go from here on. I don't see Alex Smith as the future. Maybe he'll be the starting quarterback next year. Maybe they go out in the draft and grab a quarterback if they can. Build to have him sit for a year behind Alex Smith, see what he can learn. But, I mean, pretty much this was a Tom Brady game. First drive of the game, throws it down to Antonio Brown, scores a touchdown. I mean, just look at these weapons. Look at these weapons Tom Brady has. Mike Evans, Cameron Brate, Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Leonard Fournette, Scotty Miller. Even Gronk didn't even have a catch, but he's just you have to like double Gronk. There's not much you can do. Tom Brady just has a plethora of weapons. I'd be excited to see what he can do in the next round. Obviously, we'll go over who he faces next, but I mean, look out for Tampa Bay. A lot of people. I have a friend. My friend Rainier thinks Tampa Bay is going to go far. I'll see if I agree with him at the end of the video. Not sure, but I mean, we'll see. Ravens Titans. Wow. I mean, can we talk about Lamar Jackson's performance? This is called stepping up, people. This is exactly what Lamar needed to do. He wiped off those 2 playoff games from the past 2 years. He said, listen, I'm not going to listen to these critics no more. I'm going to take this. I'm going to play it. I listened to his post-game interview. He was taking this seriously. He was taking this very seriously, and it showed. The Titans, I mean, this right here is the reason they lost. This right here. I don't know if you guys can see my cursor. You guys can definitely see my cursor moving. This right here. No way Derrick Henry's going to rush for 40 yards and you're going to win a game if you're the Titans. I mean, come on. You're not counting on Ryan Tannehill. As much as he's improved throughout the years, as much as Mike Vrabel has turned him into something, Derrick Henry rushing for 40 yards isn't going to do it, guys. And 0 touchdowns? Come on. Derrick Henry, there was talks about him being an MVP this year. This is an MVP numbers right here. So we know where the Titans have to go from here. They're going to lean towards Derrick Henry. I don't know if they'll do anything in the quarterback. I mean, I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they went out and got somebody better than Ryan Tannehill to booster up A.J. Brown and Corey Davis. But right now, this is the main focus of the team. Derrick Henry. We'll see what they can do next year. I do believe they'll be back in the playoffs next year. But where it goes from the Ravens, solid team. They proved me wrong. The Ravens proved me wrong. Bears Saints. I mean, there's really not much to say about this game. They did what they were supposed to do. Drew Brees, typical Drew Brees game. He didn't really have to do much. Alvin Kamara, 23 rushes, 99 yards, 1 touchdown. Alvin Kamara things. Michael Thomas, this was a big thing right here. Michael Thomas catching his first touchdown since God knows when. Obviously, we had the Michael Thomas issues this year. We didn't know whether he was going to play. He was out for just not being a good teammate, not listening. So this was big for Michael Thomas. If they can get that Michael Thomas Drew Brees connection back, this is exactly why I think the Saints are going to the Super Bowl. This right here, this defense with this offense right here, I think their team is just really well put together. I mean, you have Emmanuel Sanders, second best receiver on this team, 2 receptions, 3 yards. I'm gonna expect more from Emmanuel Sanders in these next coming games. So this is basically it. The Bears, you can say they stretched a little bit. They probably weren't even supposed to be here. I thought the Cardinals were going to be here, if I got to be honest with you, but Mitch Trubisky, he proved himself the last 4 weeks, but obviously it didn't pay off. They're just going to have to go back to the drawing board. I do believe they need a quarterback. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not a Trubisky guy. I don't believe Mitchell Trubisky is the answer, sadly. Uh, you know, he can only go so far. They have a good running back. They have a good wide receiving core. If they get a good quarterback, they might be able to. They have a good defense, too. Khalil Mack, I mean, come on. I mean, let's be honest. Mitch Trubisky, I believe he's the problem. So we'll see where they go from here. Now, this was the game of the weekend. Browns Steelers. I mean, the Browns come off to a 27-0 lead. Baker Mayfield throws for 263 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt just goes off. Nick Chubb, the running game. The Steelers are not able to stop the running game. I mean, first play of the game. What is the center of the Steelers thinking? Where exactly are you? Who exactly are you giving that ball to? Browns just get a giveaway touchdown there. Steelers, I mean, they try their best, but Big Ben, 501 yards. Don't get me wrong. What a hell of a performance. 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Come on, Big Ben. I believe your time might be up with the Steelers. I think if you're the Steelers, you start looking at other quarterbacks. You try to trade for a Carson Wentz. You try to trade for a Sam Darnold. You try to trade for a Jimmy Garoppolo. There's things you can do to... I really believe this was Big Ben. You have the defense. You have the receiving core. I think Big Ben's got to go, and they have no sort of running game. So they really have some work to do here, guys. I don't know where the Steelers go from here. I think they'll be back here next year. Even if they have Big Ben, I think they'll be back. But I think Big Ben's done enough in his career to say, I'm just going to call it. This is going to be it. I mean, look at this first, 28-0. I think they just put themselves in too big of a hole. If this gap was smaller, I say you could have had somewhat of a comeback. But, I mean, we saw Big Ben at the end of the game very emotional for losing this game. Is that a hint that this may be his final season? No, I don't know. But, I mean, we'll see. Well, time will just tell with Big Ben. So, I mean, yeah, those were the 6 games this weekend. Obviously, we have these games coming up right here. Rams, Packers, Ravens, Bills, Buccaneers, Saints, Browns, Chiefs. I'll do my in-depth analysis of these games, what I think it'll be the determining factor. That video will probably come out on Friday. But for right now, I mean, I'll just tell you guys who I think is going to win. This should be updated, yeah. So, I mean, nothing's really changed. I still have the same 4 winning that I did even with my other bracket. So the same 4 ended up in the same exact place. So I see the Saints knocking off the Buccaneers. They beat them 2 times in the regular season. Easy blowouts. I mean, I'll go into more in depth about why I picked the Saints, but I got the Saints winning. Packers, Rams. I mean, out of all these games, this right here, this is probably a harder game to call. This is probably the biggest giveaway for me. I see the Chiefs just smoking the Browns, destroying them. Bills, Ravens, this is going to be a closer game than people think. It's going to be a very fun game to watch. If you want to talk about most exciting game of the weekend, it's this right here. Rams, Packers. That Rams defense is going to be tough, but Aaron Rodgers, I mean, he should win this. If Aaron Rodgers is the MVP, we think he should be able to slide through this. So this right here, I think, is your 4. This, I actually have this wrong. Hold on. Let me just change this real quick. I have this. And then I have the Chiefs winning. Yeah, so this is the updated bracket right here. I didn't realize that was wrong. So I have the Saints versus the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I have the Chiefs winning again. Obviously, we'll talk. I picked the Saints over the Chiefs because a more well-rounded team. As much as I like Aaron Rodgers, I think the defense can get to him. Bills over Chiefs. This is going to be a fun game, and if this happens, this is going to be a fun game. I believe even if the Ravens win here, this is still going to be a fun game. Lamar versus Patrick Mahomes. But either way, I think the AFC is in for fun. This isn't going to be another fun game, and this is going to be a good Super Bowl if this is what it is. If it's Chiefs versus Saints, honestly, any 4 of these teams against each other, these 2 against these 2, it would make for a good Super Bowl this year. So, but obviously, I think the Chiefs are just the best team. They have the best quarterback, best receiving core. Defense needs some work, but I believe their offense can work around it. So, yeah, guys, those are my updated predictions, what I think went wrong for each team. And still picking the Chiefs for the Super Bowl. If you have, let me know your comments. If you guys want to comment, tell me what you think. Tell me if you think the Chiefs, if you're picking the Chiefs of the field. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.